One of the keepers has seen some unusual activity down at the Alligator Lagoon. I'd better check it out. Alligators are nest builders, and my guess is that this mum is rebuilding her nest after laying her eggs through the night. The thing is, she's 3 weeks early. We weren't expecting this at all. It's caught us a little off guard, if I'm honest. She's lucky she was caught in the act. We've forecast a 40-degree day today, and that's not good for the eggs. Temperatures here are way above what gators would experience at laying time in their native environment. I'm going to have to take action. There's no other way around it. We've got to raid that nest. 40 degrees, a protective mother, and to top it all off, we've got a lagoon full of hungry alligators. Righto, we got Obes, Mick, Kyle. This is no easy job. I've called in the troops. We're going to need all hands on deck if this is to go smoothly before the heatwave strikes. Aggressively. So, all good? All good. Righto, let's go. We've got 2 issues here. We've got mum and eggs, and we've got a hot day. That means the other 40 alligators, they want food and they want it bad. They're aggressive. All right, beauty. Everyone in. Gators are strong, and she's a big gator. We got to move fast. It's cramped, it's quite tight. That's why she's put the nest there. She can defend it, makes our life hard. And whoa! I need to get a rope around her jaws and keep them sharp. She's protective of that nest, and so she should be. But if we don't intervene, the eggs will perish. Go around the back, mate. Okay, Mike, grab with Obes, lift her up a bit. We want her away from the water. Kyle, jump on too, mate. Okay, ready, boys? 1, 2, 3. That's it. Go. Feet up. Make it quick. Good. Ready? No worries. Go. Okay, let's get into that nest. When you capture them like this, if they struggle and tense up for too long, that can cause a lactic acid build-up, and that can be fatal. Look at that. Whoop. Hold it. Right, mate? She's a big female, very strong. And that's what she's trying to defend. Unfortunately, if we leave them in here, not going to make it past today. With temperatures on the rise, everyone's feeling the heat. Yeah. This operation is intense. We've got a defensive female, we've got reptiles on a 40-degree day. That means they are hot-blooded. Their batteries are charged and they're going to be charging. Okay, well, that's the last egg. Let's get off her, hey, and let her go. I think it was hard catching Mum. Imagine letting her go.
She's got them back legs kicked in.
Go, Mick. Right, Kyle gone. Mickey, 1, 2, 3, go. Righto, boys, come on down. The thing is, if one's laid, there's a pretty good chance one of the other girls has as well.
Bit abnormal to be doing it during the day.
And she hasn't laid, hey, because she's not in attack mode. She's nesting.
Still getting it ready, yeah.
The next nest, I've decided not to do. The female's showing some signs that she's still in nesting mode and hasn't laid her eggs. Well, maybe tomorrow, eh, but we'll leave her alone today.
Righto.
If I was to catch her and she hasn't laid the eggs, I could crush them inside her. That can kill her. As I feared, we've got another one, and the position's worse than the last. We've got a defensive, aggressive mum, and we've got 40 alligators that have a very easy opportunity with this one to come straight out of the water right where we're working. For everyone that's not a mum, they just think it's feed time. Back up a little, Dino. Watch the gators behind you, mate. Okay, we right? Obes, you on the water? Ralphie, on that rope, please. Keep pulling that rope forward tight. Mike, stay on her. Just make sure, you know, she'll do a good run, mate. Keep a bit of pressure on that, Jimbo. Obes, you got her? All right, I'm gonna grab some eggs, boys. I got 2 guys on the gator. I'm just about to go and check the eggs, and then it happens.
Just because she's got 3 feet.
Back up, back up, back up. Dino, everyone must know their roles right now because there's gators everywhere. Back up, back up, back up. Kyle and Mick, Obes on the water. Back up, crew. The centre of Tasmania is full of temperate rainforest, just like this, cool forest with running streams. Millions of years ago, a supercontinent called Gondwana looked just like this, but full of prehistoric animals. Tasmania was closer to the equator and covered by a warm and mostly shallow sea. Over time, an almost infinite amount of microscopic marine organisms died and compressed together formed a layer of limestone across the island. All the mountains on top, they came much later. But I'm here to explore another world, a world of darkness where life has adapted to survive without the replenishing effects of sunlight. These limestone caves are a historical timepiece that have provided insight into the history of the Earth. As for wildlife down here, there isn't much, but what there is fascinating. This is a cave cricket. Now, this species is only found through our Tasmanian caves, and they're perfectly adapted to live in the caves. They've got super long legs, and their antennae stretch so much longer than their body. Now, that's because their primary sense is touch. No point having good eyesight in a dark cave. They live a precarious life just on the inside of the cave entrance. But the food they need, vegetation, is found outside the cave. So as night falls, they need to do the trip daily to find their food. But that's not necessarily an easy trip. And this is what he's got to be wary of. This is a Tasmanian cave spider, and they spend their whole lives inside the caves. Now, each night as the cricket passes through, he's got to get past this spider's web. Now, they're quite unique and perfectly adapted to live inside the caves. Their webs are made on a horizontal plane against a flat surface. There's nothing flying in here, so a traditional spider web that may be vertical and span a distance has no use. They need to catch the cricket as it walks by. Now, the spider has another trick. Instead of just having one web, it has two. And if the cricket was to fall through the first, it's captured by the second. This spider can live for over 10 years and grow up to 18 centimetres. This one's nearing full size. And they're called a book lung. Now, what that means is that they have a very primitive set of lungs, and they're actually on the outside of the body, nothing like ours. Now, the way the lung works is like a book, open and close, open and close. And that draws in humid air to keep the lungs moist, draw in the oxygen to circulate around the body. The closest living relative of the Tasmanian cave spider is another cave-dwelling spider found in Chile, across the Pacific Ocean on the other side of the world. How did that come to be? Well, these spiders were alive in the time of Gondwana, before the continents split. Just in the still water here inside the cave is a mountain shrimp. And it's safe to say that this shrimp has never seen the light of day. They're filter feeders, and they filter microscopic organisms into their little mouths. They spend their entire life inside the cave. They're transparent and tiny little eyes. For them too, everything is about touch. That's their main sense. So their little legs, and there's lots of them, are covered in hairs, and they feel their way around. They're about the only living thing, apart from microorganisms, that you'll find in the water inside the cave. Now we're deep inside the cave. No light penetrates through to here. And if we turn the lights off, I can't see my hand in front of my face. It is so dark. But as my eyes begin to adjust, I can tell I'm not alone. There are a million lights, little dots on the ceiling. They're glowworms. They're minuscule. Now, this is a time lapse shot over 3 weeks. You wouldn't be able to see them move like this, but isn't it just amazing these creatures exist so far underground? Now, if the question of what's a stalactite and what's a stalagmite baffles you, stay tuned. I will settle all arguments. We like to start them young at the Australian Reptile Park, so I've brought my son Bill along to give him a taste of what being a zookeeper is all about.
That's right.
What is it?
There, over there.
Who is it?
Is it an alligator?
That's right, mate. It is an alligator.
Say good morning, big guy.
He's big.
He's big, yeah.
We're accustomed to them, of course, but kangaroos are a real novelty to most people, and the chance to see them and feed them up close is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Oh, he's got it.
The roos can look after themselves. If we don't crack on, though, we'll never get our jobs done for the day.
Come on, let's go and see Duma.
What's Duma?
Down this way. This
There'll
way.
always be time to say hello to two of my favourites at the park.
There he is. Dumaji the dingo. Good morning, Dum. Hello, Oak.
Where's that one?
Hello, Dum.
Dingoes get a bad rap in the wild, but to me, they're an important part of the landscape that helps to manage the land, especially against the plague of feral pests.
Can you howl like a dingo? Can you do a soft one to Duma?
Oh.
And now a loud one to Oka.
Oh.
She's looking. Did you hear him? He's talking to you. Say, see ya, dogs.
They might look like pet dogs, but dingoes are wild animals. We just have to respect their space, and if humans can get our part of the deal right, we could all live happily together.
Can I go in there one time with you?
Yeah, when you're a little bit bigger, you can come in there
Why?
with me. Well, because they're big dingoes.
For now, it'll be some time off before Bill can accompany me in with Duma and Oka.
Give them a wave, please, and say, see you guys.
Say hello.
Doing the rounds of morning checks and hellos is important. All the animals in the park need to be seen, and that includes the biggest.
Huh?
Big Elvis is just up here. Whoa. Come here, mate, I'll put you up top.
Just recently, Elvis has certainly been living up to his title as Australia's crankiest croc. A while back, he wasn't too pleased with one of the rangers doing a spot of lawn mowing in his yard. So in good old cranky croc style, he grabbed hold of the mower and dragged it into his pond. Luckily, mowers aren't the best tasting morsels out there, and we were able to distract him with some meat.
Let's go, mate.
Hey, Elvis!
I guess we'll eventually get round to some work, but Bill's got a few old mates he wants to see in the lost world of reptiles.
Okay, here you go. Look at him. That's a parenti.
Punchy.
A parenti.
Look at the size of him.
Look at the size of him. What can you see in here?
What is it?
That's an alligator snapping turtle. Leonardo was rescued from the drains in Sydney before coming to us. You wouldn't want to get in the way of those jaws. They're some of the strongest on Earth and will easily have your fingers if you go too close.
Come on, go and have a look at Betty.
And of course, a visit to the lost world of reptiles wouldn't be complete without saying hello to Atomic Betty.
Look, she's all curled up, mate. Do you think she's sleeping?
Betty is a reticulated python, and at over 6 metres long, she's a potential man-eater.
We've got to go now and give the wombat a bottle because she's thirsty. Come on, call her, mate. Say, come on. Here she comes. Come on. This is Ruby. She's a 12-month-old baby wombat. Well, a big baby. She only gets 2 bottles a day now. We're going to do that. Come on, Rube, this way. Come on. She's going to sit there like this. Put the bottle in her mouth. There you go. Come on, Rube. Oh, milk just went everywhere. Maybe I'll have a go for a sec. Oh, you know what? I think it's cold. We need to warm it up a little bit. Yeah, you look after her for a sec, mate. I'm going to get some warm water. Make sure she doesn't come out, please.
Say that room. Say that room. Whoa!
Oh well, looks like Bill needs a little more training in wombat wrangling. With the milk warm, it's time for a second go.
Give her a cuddle. And here we go. There's a bottle. Now you got to hold it up in the air. Can you put your hand on? That's a boy. Ruby's got a pretty sad story in that her mother was hit by a car in the wild and she was orphaned. But luckily, she was found by a really nice family and they actually checked the pouch and found Ruby alive inside. They brought her here to the reptile park when she was tiny, just fit in your hands. And look how well she's doing now. Now, her future's not sad. She'll be a little ambassador for her species and maybe help many animals like her be saved.
I think it doesn't want that little bit.
No, she's finished now. You did a good job, but look.
But there's a little bit more in it too.
Oh, that's all right. Do you want it? No. Come on, let's take her for a walk. You can catch up with Bill and Ruby next time. Hit him, Jimbo, and back up, back up, back up, back up. Dino, back up, back up, back up. Kyle and Mick, Obes on the water.
We're down
Back
at
up
the
through.
Alligator Lagoon. I got a call
Back up a
earlier
little,
to say
Dino.
there's some
Watch the gators
unusual
behind you, mate.
activity.
Just make sure you got an exit, Mike.
It certainly proved to be the case as we've got eggs being laid weeks earlier than expected.
Okay, watch big boy there, hey?
Just watch, she won't turn again. She'll turn again.
We've got a heat wave pounding down on us, and whilst the boys are restraining this girl, I've got the task of rescuing her eggs from a rapidly overheating nest.
It's warm. And the whole reason for building a nest is because they need a constant temperature of between 31 and 32 degrees for the eggs to hatch. Any colder or hotter, they die. Problem here is that our sun's just too hot and they overheat. That's warm. Okay, I'm gonna get them out now, nice and quick. Geez, I don't like them there.
They're quick, them little ones, oh, they catch you off guard.
Whoop, stop her, Obe. She's a little one. I don't like the little ones. They think it's feed time and they're coming up. Problem is, we're left with two blokes on one gator, defenceless. If gators get through us, they're gonna grab them. That's the last egg. Righto, that's it, guys. Hey, finished now. We gotta keep moving. We do not want to keep that female down, and we've got hungry gators everywhere. Even step back, 1, 2, 3, go. Righto, mate, I'm getting out of here. Good release. That was dangerous, exciting, and the eggs are safe. Well, it's time to set the eggs up. Now I need some water. I don't want the eggs sitting in water. I just need it really humid in there. So this material will keep the eggs up. Let's fill the bottom up with water. Okay, that's pretty good. And now careful does it with our precious cargo. People think it's cruel to remove the eggs, but we must. Our temperature here is just not suitable. They will not survive. You know what? Even if they did, alligators are cannibals. A high-density population like that, they'd all be eaten. This way, we ensure they do survive.
Now to a temperature-controlled room. That's really important.
All right, well, that's it. But set your clock because in 60 days' time, we're going to have some baby gators. It's been 9 weeks since our little gator eggs were laid. Any day now, they're due to hatch. It could be today. There we go. Look at that. Listen to that. That's not something you want to hear in the wild. That means Mum's coming. I'm your mum for today. Come on, I'll help you out. You've all hatched well. And those little cries for help, they call out to Mum. And when Mum hears that, she would go up to the nest, dig it up, she picks up the babies so gently in her mouth, and she carries them down to the water.
And that's what I'm replicating here. A quick rinse, and now they're ready for the next stage of their life.
Hello, little fella. You're tiny and you're white. Look how small he is. You can be Harry the hatchling. You're gonna need a bit of extra care, hey, mate. Look how white he is. And my guess would be if he was in the wild, he'd be the first one to get eaten. He's a very vulnerable little fella, but luckily, we can look after him. Hey, mate, it's your lucky day. In you go. Look at you guys, ready to go. Here's your new home. You ready to go in? The baby gators will be in this little enclosure for about a year. And after a year, they'll maybe be 40 centimetres long, at which point they need to be moved up a grade in cage. And it's a very slow process because they're not at maturity until about maybe 10 to 20 years old. Here we go.
This is what it's all about. Remember, if they were left in the nest, they'd have all died. Now look at them.
Listen to the calls. Even in here, they're still calling for Mum. They know now this is their home, this is where they're gonna live, and they're just checking that I'm still here.
But there's one little guy who's reluctant to go.
Now you guys don't pick on Harry, please. Hey, what, you want to stay with me? You want to stay with me? Righto, you stay. There you go. See you guys. I'll bring you some food a bit later.
I'm at the Maricopa Caves in Tasmania. Now, if you've ever debated the age-old question of what's a stalagmite or stalactite, then fear not. Tim's here to settle the argument. As rain falls above ground, it absorbs carbon dioxide. This creates carbonic acid, like your soft drink. As that seeps down through the porous earth, it creates a chemical reaction with the limestone and dissolves it. As the water continues down, it now carries with it minerals. One of the main minerals is calcite. As it enters the cave, the liquid deposits the calcite, which begins forming what's known as straws. And every now and then, a straw gets blocked. And over thousands of years, the walls of the straws thicken until eventually you end up with monsters like this, stalactites. As the drips continue to fall, they hit the ground, depositing more calcite. This builds up, creating stalagmites. Every now and then, they meet in the middle and form a column. Now, there's 3 examples here. One that almost has, one that recently has, or still a few thousand years ago, and one that's been together for a long time. That's me done down here. It's chilly. All that's left now is to find my way out. Now, the ranger said lights out and doors shut in 20 minutes. I'm in the Atherton Tablelands, about an hour or so inland from Cairns in North Queensland. There are some spectacular sights on these roads. I wish I could see them. But what I'm doing needs darkness. There's an animal I'm desperate to see. It's not strictly nocturnal, but it's well camouflaged and likes to hang out high in the canopy. The Lummold's tree kangaroo is only found in and around the Atherton Tablelands. Though some say its conservation status is of least concern, up here in North Queensland, it's a different story. Their habitat has been stripped away since European settlement. The thing is, I've never seen one in the wild. Hopefully that's all about to change. If this comes off, I'm going to be one happy camper.
Princess parrots.
To help me achieve my goal, I've met up with Alan Galanders, a local wildlife expert.
Yeah.
Before we get to the treeroo habitat, we're heading to somewhere he knows has a whole load of other nocturnal wildlife to spotlight. We're about to see some fishing bats. Now, they're a little microbat, and the name suggests how they hunt. They actually have long toes with sharp hook-like claws, and what they do is trawl the surface of the water, hoping to hook a fish that's sitting right up high, and that's what they eat. Let's go. Good information like Alan's is always great, but you can just as easy go spotlighting by yourself. So long as you remain responsible and respect you're in a wild environment.
Lose your lights for a minute, boys. Just for a minute.
There shouldn't be a problem. We've arrived at a bridge Alan knows has a colony of fishing bats roosting underneath. They find their way into all sorts of cracks and crevices, but we didn't bank on this.
It's a juvenile. Just there's a juvenile. And I think there's an adult up further.
This has gone from a roost to a nursery, and that's the first time you've seen that?
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen the young, which is wonderful. They just used to use this site as a nighttime roost while they were fishing. And then they started digging out this insulation and then camping here during the day. And this is the first evidence I've got of them breeding here, so it's really been wonderful.
And they look pretty, a decent age. They're not fully furred, a bit bald, but and two, would they be from separate parents?
Yes, and different ages. They just have one at a time. And as you saw, quite a small bat, but with really wide feet for getting those fish.
Have you seen them fish?
I've seen them fish. I've never actually seen one pull the fish out of the water. I've seen them carrying fish they've caught. I've seen them eating. I've seen them cleaning scales. But I've never actually seen a successful dip.
calling now. Right, let's leave him be, hey?
Right. Wonderful.
I've got my eldest son, Bill, with me today at the park. I wouldn't say it's work experience, but he's getting a taste of what Dad gets up to from day to day. Bill's been helping me feed our baby wombat, Ruby. Now we're done, it's time to take her for a run in the park.
Come on, Rubes. No, she's coming. She's coming. Go! Keep on going, mate. Hello, guys. You can have a little pat as I come past if you like. Her name's Ruby.
Wombats are one of Australia's most iconic species, so it's no wonder Ruby gets plenty of attention when we take her for a wander around the park.
That's the morning exercise over. Marsupials like wombats, kangaroos, possums, sometimes they get hit by cars. Now, really, you need to stop and have a look because these marsupials have thick, hard bottoms. And often the joey inside is safe and alive, even though the mum might not be. You need to stop and have a look because you can rescue a little joey just like Ruby by doing that. Come on, Rube. Ah, come on, I'll give you a hand. I'll give you a hand. This way. Come on, Rube.
We've still got heaps of jobs to get through this morning, and it's time for Rubes to have a snooze.
Come on, you.
The evolution of the kangaroo is one of nature's finest masterpieces. It has adapted to life in one of the world's harshest environments, the Australian outback. Kangaroos and other marsupials used to have a common ancestor, a small mammal, a rodent, possum-like creature, and it used to inhabit the wetter, cooler forests that once covered Australia. Roos are the symbol of Australia, found on everything from the coat of arms to the tail of the national airline. Spread across the continent, there are two large and iconic species, the red kangaroo and grey kangaroo, as well as many smaller species, but they all belong to the family of macropods, meaning large foot. This is a Kangaroo Island kangaroo, and they're one of the more placid kangaroos. Just great to have here at the park because they love the social interaction. Not all kangaroos are this friendly, and the ones here are used to people. Some of your smaller wallabies, potoroos, they're very flighty. You get close to them and they take off. And when a kangaroo gets on the move, there's no stopping them. They have evolved the most economical form of locomotion, their hop. They've developed the hop because in Australia, a dry continent, food and water could be some distance away. Now, when they hop, their feet go down, the tendons stretch, and the body is pushed forward. Rather than running, that requires a lot of energy. Kangaroos are true marvels of evolution. They are designed for speed, endurance, and doing it all efficiently. Just look at those legs, strong feet, strong tendon, and a tail for counterbalance. Most species of kangaroo are nocturnal. They have to be because it's too hot through the day and the environments are too harsh. Coming out at night means there's a bit of moisture on the food you eat, dew, and it's much cooler, and that conserves energy. A problem in Australia is kangaroos coming to the roadside to feed after dark. Now, there's green feed along the edge of the road that cattle, sheep and other stock haven't eaten. Kangaroos wait till dark and come to the road's edge, often collide with cars. The reptile park has lots of macropods, and the number occasionally increases as orphans are brought to the park, mainly due to road trauma, dog attacks, shootings, environmental impact or abandonment by their mother. One such joey is Sally, a beautiful grey kangaroo. And little Sally here has a bit of a sad story. Her mother was hit by a car, but little Sally was protected inside the pouch. Now, while her mother passed away, Sally survived. And lucky for her, she was found by a beautiful family that brought her here to the reptile park. She was much smaller, almost furless, and now we care for her. Sally is an eastern grey kangaroo, and they're one of the more placid and lovable kangaroos. Now, she's just over a year old, and we've been hand-rearing her since she was about 6 months old. I'm just about to give her a bottle. She only has 2 bottles a day now because she's eating a lot of solid food. She's almost weaned. And eastern grey kangaroos keep their joeys for longer than almost all macropods or other kangaroos. Now, I've got an artificial milk formula and an artificial teat, and I'm mum. There you go. And once they have that milk, they just relax like a human baby would. I love when they hold onto your fingers. It's pretty special. Sally's future is in captivity. She can't be released to the wild because she's too used to people, to human beings. But that's not a bad thing because she's an ambassador for her species. She'll mix with our mob of roos and have a happy life. Kangaroos can live to about 10 years old in the wild and up to 20 years in captivity, depending on the species. That's mainly due to diet and an obvious lack of predators in zoos and wildlife parks. If Sally was left in the wild, she'd almost certainly be dead. I think she got pretty lucky and she found a good home here. One of my favourite wildlife pastimes is spotlighting, and you can't get much better than in the Atherton Tablelands in North Queensland. We are well and truly into the tropics here, and because of its elevated position and fertile soils, the tablelands have been a major provider to the Australian dinner table for well over a century. All very well for us, but the whole area was once covered in rainforest. Today, it's a pale shadow of its former self. Only small pockets of rainforest exist. Why is it good to look along the forest edges, along the road?
Oh, Tim, you've got to be able to see a bit. If you go in under the forest, all you can see are the leaves that are closest to you that it hits. But here we've got a gap, so we can see a fair bit of the canopy, and through the little gaps we can look further back and pick up other things. We've got much more chance of finding an animal here.
It's not long before we catch sight of our first marsupial of the night. It's a green ringtail possum. Now, they're only found here on the Atherton Tablelands. They've got a pretty clever trick during the daytime. Rather than a lot of possums that will find a hollow to sleep in during the day, the green ringtail will curl up in a ball on a branch using its fur as camouflage. Their fur is more of an olive grey, made up of black, yellow, white and grey hairs. And those white markings around the eyes and ears, well, they're a sure sign you're looking at a green ringtail. And he's out now feasting on the leaves in the forest. And because some of the leaves are quite toxic, they've got a really slow metabolism and a long gut. And as far as possums go, they're pretty slow, similar to a sloth. There's nothing like local knowledge when it comes to seeking out wildlife, and Alan's is amongst the best. He's taken us to a few little Lummold's tree-roo hangouts tonight, but he saved the best for last. This is the mighty curtain fig, a spectacular sight, but it's got nothing on what I can see right now. Just up there is a Lummold's tree kangaroo. Now, it's one of Australia's rarest marsupials, and certainly one of the hardest to spot. Evolution means they differ to their land-based cousins quite a bit. Their forearms are long and muscular, while their hind feet are short and broad. And under those feet is a soft pad that lets it mould around the branches and trunks to help it climb. Its tail? Well, that's just used for balance. It's actually the longest, relative to size, in the kangaroo family. Tree-roos sleep all day hunched over in a sitting position high up in the canopy. Then at dusk, out they come to feed on leaves. They'll eat from all sorts of trees: blackbean, chestnut, candlenut, bollywood, and loads of others. But this is special. It's the first one I've ever seen. This was the very last location of the night, and what a way to end. is helping his dad at the park today. We've been out the front for most of the morning, but now we're heading out back.
Come on, Rube.
The public don't generally get to see behind the scenes, but there's always a critter or two that find their way in.
Look at this, mate. That's a water dragon. And you know what? See her big belly? She's full of eggs. She's got lots of little eggs in there. You know why she's called a water dragon?
Why?
Because she lives near the water. OK, I'm going to let her go.
I'm gonna do this.
OK, well, you hold on to the tail.
Yes,
Ready? Put her on the ground. Put her on the ground. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Did you see that? Hit me.
I want to the dinosaurs.
Oh, the dinosaurs. OK, well, how can we not look at the dinosaurs? All right, come on.
Well, lizards are a distant relation, just like the fellow we're off to see next.
Hugo's lunch.
First up, though, we have to prep some food.
Come on. Hugo's our 65-year-old Galapagos tortoise. And he likes...
This one.
You can cut that. There's a bit of prickly pear, sweet potato and endive, some of his favourites.
Obviously, I've picked out a blunt knife for Bill to use.
Whoa, that was a good one. Here we go.
Can I touch it?
You can, that's a good one for you. Got it? You got it, mate? Yeah, chop that bit off. Good boy. And this bit? Galaps have got big bellies and big digestive systems. They need lots of food. They're graziers, so they eat little bits over a long amount of time, and that's what we're providing here with endive and sweet potato. Looks like a big feed, but that's what he needs. Hey, that's a good bit. Look at the size of that.
We should leave it in here in case someone needs a face. Hugo is hungry eating.
Oh, OK, so we'll leave it in here in case someone needs to feed Hugo again.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds like a good plan, mate.
But we got all the other stuff.
We've got it. I'm going to put it in the fridge, OK?
Yes?
As I've said before, having kids around animals builds a fair amount of understanding.
Why don't you carry that bit? Pass me the knife, please. Thank you.
Is that nice?
No, it's not. I gave you a blunt one. Blunt one's for little boys.
Dad,
Yeah, mate?
put it there so I know where it is.
OK.
Looks like kitchen duty hasn't scared Bill. Off to see Hugo now.
Go. That's a boy, thank you. Come on, Hugo's down here. Hugo, come on. That's it, turn it around.
Hugo's been with us for decades. He's 65, in the prime of his life. And by the look of it, Bill's a bit wary.
Whoa, that was good, mate. That was your first time. Look, and again. Now, if you want to give him the bowl, you can. Slide the bowl over. Slide the bowl over. That's it, right under. So here you go, Hugo. That's it, that's it, that's it. Prickly pear is one of the Galap's favourite foods. You know, in Australia, it's actually a real pest species, and there's not too much of it around here, but when we get a hold of a bit, we feed it to the Galaps, get it out of the environment. Here you go, mate. You like this?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Bill's keeping his distance a bit, and to be fair, he's got a point. That mouth would probably take his hand off.
He loves that. There were Galaps in the world until recently that were old enough that they had been on Galapagos when Charles Darwin was there. He actually collected some. Now, they can live to 200 years. And Hugo, in his mid-60s, is realistically a teenager and a good-looking one. Give him a wave, mister. It's time for us to go.
Bye-bye.
We need to do some work now.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll take Hugo through to afternoon tea. It's koala clean-up duty now, so you'll have to catch up next time to see how we go.
Good job, mate.
I'm exploring the evolution of Australia's most iconic marsupial, the kangaroo. Now, apart from their physical makeup, the kangaroo's ability to thrive in a changing environment has contributed in a big way to a strong population.
The male right now is actually sniffing the female around her cloaca, and he's seeing if she's receptive, if she's ready to mate. Now, she's moving forward. I don't know if she's coming to me or if she's actually leading him forward, and that's what she'll do. She'll let him smell, and then she would stand still and he'll mount on her back.
Once a young kangaroo is born, it climbs into mum's pouch and it's blind, hairless and only a few centimetres long. it will latch onto a teat and begin suckling on precious milk. After many months, the baby has developed enough to explore the world. But it's only after as long as a year that the baby will seek independence from mum.
Looks like she's not responsive. I don't think it's his lucky day.
Temperatures in Australia's outback can reach in excess of 50 degrees Celsius. It's one of the harshest environments on the planet. Being able to cool down can be the difference between dying and surviving. Kangaroos have a clever way of cooling down. They actually lick their arms until they're visibly wet. Now, in doing so, they expose their veins and they're close to the surface. The cool air blows by, cools the blood, and they circulate that back through the body. They're licking my arms. My arms are a little bit sweaty and they can taste the salt and they want that. Roos have evolved to become graziers and are strict herbivores, meaning they only eat vegetation and have therefore developed specialised teeth. Its incisors, or front teeth, are able to crop grass close to the ground, whilst its molars grind the grass. Now, when they eat their food, they actually swallow it, regurgitate it, chew it again and swallow it down, and that helps with digestion. And they have a chambered gut. It takes a long time for the food to pass through. Groups of kangaroos are called mobs and usually have 10 or more kangaroos in them. Living in mobs provides protection for some of the weaker members of the group and also a sense of interaction and socialisation. Their ears are able to pivot 180 degrees, and that's for picking up the sounds of predators. Now, if they're listening, they'll face them forward and then turn sideways. Big ears, great for hearing. Within these mobs, there are big, strong males, and that equals fighting. This is a male, and you can see that because he's strong and thick, because he has to fight hard for territory with other males. Now, they'll lean back on their tails, rear up, and kick with their feet. Now also, these front claws, that's almost as big as my hand, and they're strong for grabbing. And that chest, it's strong and muscular. Lots of muscle there because that's going to take the impact of other males. Kangaroos are truly unique to Australia, and people come from all over the world to see them. And we Aussies, we're pretty lucky. We've got a family of birds here in Australia that are like no other. There are 8 species found right throughout a range of environments. They're described as artists, sculptors and painters, and I'd have to agree. They're terms that only apply to males though, as it's his job to build a stage on which to attract the female of the species. Do you hear that? That's a tooth-billed bowerbird. He's the only bowerbird in Australia that doesn't build a structure. That's not to say he doesn't put the effort in. I'm pretty happy that I found one. I don't know anyone personally that's stumbled across one. They're hard to find because there's not a bower. There's no blue decorations or pieces of glass or bone or other things that would give away bowerbird bowers. Let's go and have a closer look. The toothbill is unique. He clears a patch of forest floor and using notches in his bill, he nips off leaves to lay on his bower, always displaying them upside down. Now, it's a primitive type display site for a female. The male will have a perch and he calls like that. He waits for a female and when she comes, he'll drop to the ground and do a dance. It's at the other end of the scale compared to the western bowerbird's bower. He goes to great lengths selecting twigs to build his avenue and stage in order to lay out his prized possessions. But the toothbill is like no other. He isn't one for artificial ornaments. It's au naturel all the way for this fella. Now, the forest floor is littered with leaves and debris, but his site is immaculately clean. He removes everything, every stick, leaf, rock, and it's back down to bare earth, and that's his display site. And what's it all for? Well, males have only one purpose in life, to attract females and sire young. And the owner here has competition. In fact, I can hear 2 other males in close proximity. Looking at the state of this one, it's obviously owned by a younger bird, one that's still learning. You can tell that by the general state of the bower. He hasn't even cleaned the forest floor. The other one is definitely a threat. Not as well kept as the one I'm looking at, but he's keeping the dominant male of the area on his toes. Time to hop out and let our boy here get down to business. He sits on a perch near his bower from October to March in the hope of enticing a passing female. And look at that, our boy's in luck. A female's landed right near the display site. See him there behind that tree? He doesn't want her to see him just yet. He wants her to inspect the display site. It won't be long before he's doing his dance. There he goes. This is where he really needs to impress. Look at him dancing, hopping and lunging about his stage. There goes his wings, spread wide. If she's impressed, it won't be long before they mate. Now that was truly something else. A rare sight indeed. The next generation of tooth-billed bowers is on the way.
Where the birds are flying.
I've been having a great time showing my eldest son Bill what it takes to be a park keeper. We've been doing all sorts. Chopping food.
Whoa, that was a good one.
Releasing a snake.
He likes it.
Wow. And howling at dingoes.
Oh!
But right now, we've got some koala yards to rake.
All right, I'm jumping in, mate. You climb up. Come on. Look at what we've got here. These are two of Billy's favourites. This is me. She's an 8-year-old. Great mum.
Ow!
She's had a number of Joeys, but this is little Max.
Doesn't you bring one home?
Oh, I don't think so. Not a koala. They climb up the curtains. And little Maxie on the back there, at this size, he's way too big for the pouch. And when they first emerge from the pouch, they'll sit in Mum's belly, right in there where it's warm. But at this size, he just hitches a ride. Everywhere Mum goes, he goes.
Ah.
Look how much he's holding on there.
Koalas are having a bit of a hard time in the wild. There's dog attacks, hit by cars, urban sprawl. This means their habitat is disappearing. And to top it all off, they've got a retrovirus which causes all types of immune-related diseases. Numbers have dropped dramatically, particularly in Queensland and northern New South Wales. It's a worrying trend.
All right, that's good, mate. We're going to rake the koalas? All right. Koalas need a lot of husbandry, a lot of maintenance. Not only do they need fresh eucalyptus every day, but they need to have their sand raked, their water changed, and we're going to put some fresh leaves in now. 2, 3. There you go. You good? OK, I'm coming. All right. Good job, mate.
No one likes a lot of poo around their yard, and koalas are no different.
What do you got? Koala poo?
It never fails to amuse me why kids are so fascinated by poo, and little Bill's no different.
All right, you hold the bucket for me, pal. I'm going to break it in there.
There's more poo.
Yeah, there's lots of poo. Come on, put the bucket down right next to it. All right, I got it.
Once the yard's clean, it's time for a feed.
What do koalas eat?
Leaves.
What sort of leaves?
Gum leaves.
They do. Let's put some in. Everybody knows koalas eat gum leaves, but there's around 2,000 different species of eucalyptus in Australia, maybe 30 of which we can feed to the koalas within our region. And people think koalas get drunk from the gum leaves they eat, but that's not the case. It's just that it's really low in its nutritional qualities. So koalas need to sleep so much to conserve energy. They sleep up to 18 to 20 hours a day. Even koalas have basic camouflage. Now, this koala up there, if you look up at him, you see blotchy white. Now, if I was a dingo on the ground and I look up, I see a koala's bottom that's white and blends in with the clouds. Or if there was an eagle above, which is another of the koala's predators, looking down, I would see a grey and brown back, and that blends in with the trees. Pretty clever. You gonna put that bit in?
One more branch to go, and it's Bill's honour.
Hey, that's good, mate.
I want to put the other one in.
OK, there you go. Put it in.
Dad, how would I eat it?
Well, when it's night time, they're going to wake up and come down and they're going to eat all these fresh leaves off the end. Hey, guess what we're going to do now?
What?
We're going to play with some reptiles.
A little crocodile?
Yeah, little crocodile. Let's go.
There's nothing better than setting a challenge when you're out looking for wildlife. This is Tasmania and I'm on a mission to find its 3 snake species, which all just happen to be venomous. Just like the rest of Australia, stumbling across a snake whilst trekking through the bush is pretty common. Been looking for a copperhead snake, and there's one right there, a big boy. Now, there's a dam down there where there'd be heaps of frogs, and that's why he's here. Now, copperheads rank about number 16 for their strongest venom. They're hard to hold because they're really whippy. He's off. Come here, matey. Come here, mate. He's quick. Oh, stay. Come on, mate. They're fiery little snakes, copperheads. Yes. Oh, there we go. That is a big copperhead. That's a lowland copperhead. Now, copperheads are big frog eaters. Little ones will eat skinks. I wouldn't want to get bitten by one. Look at that now, how he's flattening out. That's just showing me he's trying to make himself look big. They're beautiful snakes. And Tasmania's cold. It's a very cold climate. You don't find pythons down here. Now, the copperhead, it's almost pitch black. And that's so that he can absorb so much more of the sun's heat. They can actually be found sunbaking on snow. Pretty extreme, but it happens. They're able to function at really low temperatures. But in general, it means they're only really active in the warmer months and can go the entire winter without food. Easy, mate. Now, I don't really like holding copperheads because they're a short-bodied, a stocky snake. They're able to whip up and they're known to have a bit of fire, a bit of character, a bit of attitude. All right, now I'm going to leave him and let him on his way. Thanks for letting us have a look, mate. What a great snake to catch. Just a brilliant snake. So I'm going to let him go back that way. 1 down, 2 to go. But the day is still young. I'm in Queensland on the hunt for bowerbirds. I've already come across the amazing tooth-billed bower, but now I'm after something a whole lot more colourful.
Jesus.
The northeastern corner of Australia harbours the country's greatest diversity of plant and animal species, many of which are found nowhere else in the world. For those reasons, it was recognised by the United Nations and is known as the Wet Tropics World Heritage Area. It's home to countless rare and threatened species and attracts visitors from all over the world. It's hardly a surprise when, if you're lucky, you get to see something like the golden bowerbird.
This is by far the most elaborate bower of any bowerbird in Australia. This is more typical of what you'd see in New Guinean bowerbirds.
Though it's the smallest of all bowerbirds, the golden bower builds the largest of all Australian bowers. After finding a suitable site, usually a tree trunk and a sapling, he erects 2 towers connected by a display perch. These towers are called maypoles.
Every part of this bower has a purpose. Every stick is placed in an exact spot. And not just any stick will do. Every single one is chosen for the particular way that it looks.
He'll often go for whitish or pale green flowers like orchids and jasmine, but he collects seed pods and lichens as well.
Now, the general rule with bowerbirds is the more attractive the male bowerbird, the less attractive the bower, the less work goes into that bower. But the golden bowerbird is a bit of an exception. It is itself stunning, and its bower is the most elaborate of any of the Australian bowerbirds.
Now all we need is the owner of this bower to return, so I can back up my claim of how good looking he is.
He's there right now.
That's just amazing. Look how delicately he places his jewels. All to attract a female. If another bower has a rarer ornament, she'll go there, so making sure his bower is the prettiest is paramount.
And that's what this is all about, males being able to pass on their genes.
I don't think there's another animal on the planet that goes to such lengths to attract the opposite sex. Apart from one, of course. I've been known to give my house a tidy from time to time to impress my wife. But the bowerbirds are absolutely unique in the wild. This is truly magical. His work is never ending and, you know, he stores fruit at his bower. He can eat there and not leave the bower for extended periods of time.
I'd never imagined in my wildest dreams I'd sit here and watch a golden bowerbird decorate his bower. That's one of the truly amazing things that you would ever see in the bird world.
My boy Bill's first day working with his dad is near its end. We've had a great time, but there's still some reptiles to see.
Have a look up this one. Now.
We've got over 500 animals at the park, and it's fair to say I think Bill's blown away by the reptiles.
Look!
What is it?
Well, his dad is the general manager of a reptile park. I guess I've taught him well.
That's it. What's in there? Do you know what they are?
What are they?
That's a land mullet, that's a skink, and that's a dragon.
Hey, look! The missed one!
Oh, another one. I did miss him. Come on, monkey. Hey, girls, how you going?
Good. High five.
Come on.
Don't leave me hanging.
Give them fives. You don't need to get nervous around the girls. Ah, look at you.
Wait one minute!
All right, mate.
What's it look?
How you going, mate? Good. No, you're all right, mate. Come on, here we go. Most of the animals here at the reptile park are on display for visitors to see, but we do have some areas off display, and they're filled with animals that are used for education to teach people that visit the park. Come on, Bill. Come and have a look at this one. Look at this.
What is it?
That's a chameleon. Here you go. That's it. Hold it. Whoa! Did you see his tongue? What did he do? He licked it up. That's what he does. He's got a sticky tongue and he shoots it out. Veiled chameleons are found in the Middle East and they are very cool lizards. Firstly, they can change colour. And really, they wear their hearts on their sleeve. If they're dark, they're upset. If they're light, they're happy. Now, they also have eyes that can rotate all directions within those sockets and they're able to spot food whilst keeping an eye on maybe another rival male. Pretty impressive.
There's a lot that happens behind the scenes that most people never get to see. He's a lucky boy, my Bill.
Here's your favourite, buddy. An alligator. Here we go. You remember how to do it? Here you go, you take him. You know how to do it, up behind the head there, nice and soft, yep. And one on the tail. That's it, hold him. Good, strong boy, that's good. This is an American alligator, and they are very different than the Australian saltwater crocodile. These guys are puppies, very calm, placid, and I'm really happy that he's handling something of this size.
Alligators aren't native to Australia. They live in the swamps of the southeastern United States. Though it gets hot there, it's nothing like the heat we get here. So every summer we have to rescue gator eggs from their nests so they don't overheat.
That's a boy. Put the lid on.
I reckon Bill's done real well today. I'm proud of him. A real zookeeper in the making. But his dad's got to get on with managing the park and his mum's waiting outside.
All right, mate, Mummy's outside with Maddie. Come on, Superman.
I want chippies.
You want some chippies? All right, well, you did do a pretty good effort today. You can have some chippies.
What's that?
That was a really good day. As a dad, I'm really proud of him, and I can tell he's had just as much fun as me.
I'm on a mission in Tassie to find 3 venomous snakes. Just seen a little white-lipped snake, or the Tasmanian whip snake. And I saw him just dart off the path here, and he hasn't come out from this spot. So I'm just going to gently flip this log. There he is. Come here, mate. Put that log back down. Look at that. They're skink eaters, they're skink specialists. And like all snakes, their tongue's forked and brilliant sense of smell. So as they go along, they flick that tongue out and they actually taste the air. And that tells them which direction the skink is, how long ago it was there, and if it's the type they like to eat. You can see where they get their name because of that white lip. And this is full grown. They don't get much bigger at all. And they're quite dark. They're diurnal, means they're out through the daytime when their prey's out, skinks. And although they don't look so camouflaged, they are. That colour just blends in beautifully with this forest floor. And we always imagine that snakes envenomate their prey just to kill the prey, but that's not always the case. With some of these rear fang snakes, they actually inject venom to help with digestion. Snakes like this run a risk when they swallow their food whole. They risk that the skink, the food, might actually go rotten inside the belly before it's digested. So by injecting it with venom as it's being swallowed, it begins to break the skink down from the inside out. That, with the belly juices, the belly acids, make sure the food doesn't rot. Okay, right back where I found him. Just one more on the list of Tasmanian snakes to tick off. All this needs is a keen eye and a bit of luck. This is a Tassie tiger snake. I've been looking for a while, finally found one. And they come in a whole range of colours. This one's pretty dark, a slaty grey. And this is the 4th most toxic snake in the world. Well, it has the 4th strongest venom of any snake. That's pretty impressive. Certainly enough in there to kill a few grown men. Now, they're dark in Tassie because it's cold down here. It's a very cool climate. And they need to be dark to absorb the sun's heat when it's out. Where are you going there, mate? Tiger snake's got to be one of my favourite snakes. In captivity, they're calm, they're quiet. But when they need to, they mean business. Big head, big venom glands, good fangs, good delivery system, and an incredibly strong venom to back it up. Full of character and attitude. That's what makes them one of my favourites. Now, tiger snakes are opportunistic predators. They eat a lot of reptiles and amphibians, skinks and frogs. But they'll take baby birds, mammals, and that venom is incredibly strong. They have a strong anticoagulant. Now, basically, that thickens your blood, turns it to jelly, and you're likely to go into cardiac arrest. That, coupled with some powerful neurotoxins that are sending your body into paralysis, mean one bite, it's game over. All right, I'll let him go. There you go, matey. Thank you. That's it. Job done. A copperhead, a whippy, and a tiger snake. This is Tasmania, Australia's southernmost state. South of here, it's the Southern Ocean, then Antarctica. I've come down to the capital, Hobart, to meet the boys from Reptile Rescue. It's a voluntary service that relocates snakes and other critters from people's homes all over the island.
Hello, Reptile Rescue, Chris speaking. Yep, this is the snake man.
The temperature is on the rise, and that can only mean one thing down here.
Not a problem. Keep your eye on the snake and we'll be there. Cheers, mate. Bye.
You got a snake?
Yeah, mate, we've got a snake at Acton Road.
Oh, that's great.
That
was quick.
Yeah, a lot of tiger snakes. Big ones,
you
big
think it'll
gold
be
ones.
a tiger?
Oh, I reckon it will be a tiger.
Oh, I'll follow you.
All right, mate, beautiful.
Chris and Justin are just two of a network of volunteers that respond to calls across the island. First call out of the day is relatively close, just 10 minutes away. Chris has just had a call on the snake phone, and it sounds like a tiger snake, a big tiger snake. Now, they have the 4th strongest venom on Earth, so they're a pretty dangerous snake. We're heading out of town to where the wilderness meets urban sprawl. It's no surprise the calls come from here. It's the same story the world over. Where the two collide, wildlife will inevitably come into contact with man. Hang on a minute. This isn't where we're supposed to be going.
Also got another one, tree-eating birds at the moment, so he'll be up there for probably 20 minutes, half hour.
Really?
So we'll shoot off to Acton.
Another tiger?
Another tiger.
Up a tree.
So, up a tree.
Eating birds.
About 2 metres up, so what we'll do is we'll shoot off to Acton, catch that one.
up a tree in a bird's nest eating baby birds. Just wild. It doesn't take long before we reach our first call out. Hey, mate, Tim.
Nice to meet you, Nathan.
Yeah, no, you too, mate. What have we got?
Oh, well, I was just walking my dog here before, and she just darted off straight over there.
Okay.
And, yeah, I started pouncing around, and I saw this thing move. I thought it might have been an injured bird or something, but, yeah, I went over and grabbed the dog, and, yeah, it was definitely a snake.
Okay.
Yeah,
What do you
just
think it
sitting
is?
It'd definitely be a tiger.
Tiger.
Normally yellow here, yellowy greeny colour.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a tiger.
Okay, we're going to go and have a look?
Yeah, we'll get him there.
All right. Despite their name, tiger snakes don't necessarily have striping, and their colour can vary with location. They're generally wary of humans. More often than not, they'll have fled long before you see them. Unfortunately, it's looking like this one is a bit camera shy. Ethan had taken his dog indoors, so lost track of the snake.
All right, buddy, if you see him again, just give us a call, but yeah, try and keep your eye on it. The distance they can travel in a split second, you know, obviously pretty good. You've got a lot of bushland around here, so but definitely keep your eye out.
Phone's going again. Chris has got another call.
G'day, Chris from Reptile Rescue.
That's the third call in almost as many minutes. Now, this first snake we've missed, a tiger snake, could be anywhere.
Okay,
There's another one up a tree, and who knows where this one is.
Under the hot water cylinder, so is it accessible, or would you be able to ask her just keep an eye on it? Just makes it a bit easier, just in case he comes out while we're there.
Still got the snake?
Still
Righto,
see it,
so-
it's tucked in a bit of concrete.
Yeah.
Underneath hot water cylinder.
So we're going to go to that one next?
We'll go to this one now,
and then we'll go to the
bird
tree.
one.
Righto, I'll follow you.
Beautiful.
The snake in a tree sounds like a real wild encounter, but we're heading straight to the latest call out. There's children in the house, which makes it our top priority.
The snake's gone in here, Tim.
Now begins the search. Remember, tiger snakes rate at number 4 on the world's most venomous snakes list, so we need to be well and truly on our guard. This is no time for faint hearts. The adrenaline is pumping. You got a hole?
Yeah, if you have a look. He's a tiger snake right up the back there. If you have a look up there, see scales right at the back?
Sure do. We might try and take that bit of timber out.
Okay.
You got that one?
I have got that one.
And that's probably enough to get him. Remember, Chris, Justin and I are all professionally trained in dealing with snakes. This is not something you want to be doing yourself. Do you want to pass him?
Thank.
Yep. It's good. Easy. He's golden.
Yeah, nice golden tiger.
Yeah. It's a beautiful golden colour. But down here in Tasmania, tigers come in a range of colours from jet black through yellow with grey bands to sandy grey with no bands. Next one, hey?
Right, next one. One in a tree. Eating some birds.
Job done. Another family safe for the time being. Do you see the snake, boys?
Yeah. But it came up from the bush.
Yeah, that's what I reckon too. What do you reckon he's eating?
People?
People? No.
People.
Not tiger snakes, but tigers do, yeah, you're right. He's eating frogs and skinks. Do you get skinks in your garden? You don't? Never?
That's the first snake we ever had in our yard.
Yeah, well, I reckon you're pretty lucky. You gotta leave him alone. Well, see you, boys. Nice to meet ya.
Yeah.
See you later. Off to the snake in the tree. Hopefully we get there before we lose any native bird species. I'm on my way to see Jenny at the Cairns Turtle Rehab Centre, and she's invited me to help out on a pretty special day. Along with a host of volunteers, Jenny has been running the centre since 2000. To date, nearly 200 sick or injured turtles have passed through the centre. Turtles like Zippy, a juvenile green sea turtle, who apparently has had a run-in or two with not just a shark, but a croc too. The amazing thing is, the whole operation is run on the generosity of public donations. Staggering, really. Hi, Jenny.
Oh, hi.
Nice to
How are
meet you. I'm
Nice
really
to meet
good.
you.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm just checking all the turtles, as I do every morning, just to make sure that they're all okay.
Yeah?
But I'm glad you're here this morning because we're actually on our way to Port Douglas.
What are we doing?
We're going to release a turtle called Di, so we've got
Really?
to box her up and we've got to get going and go to Port Douglas.
You're kidding.
No, a little juvenile green sea turtle.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
you're here on the right day.
That's Di, hey?
This is Di, so this is the turtle that we're going to take up to Port Douglas.
Okay. How do I catch her?
If you just grab a timber around the sides like that,
Yeah.
pull her out and straight into the box.
Straight into the tub. All right, I'm going to let her go past once. Come on, you. Come on, a little bit more. Well, that was fun. Hey, that's enough, thank you. Okay, in you go. I'm going to settle it. There we go.
There you go. Settle.
That's it.
Settle.
Jen likes to give all the patients a good scrub before they leave.
In the wild, what she'd normally do is go into coral, or she'd have cleaner fish out there.
Oh, gotcha.
So we just wanted to go out looking beautiful.
So you're like a cleaner fish.
Similar.
She looks
The
great.
human version.
She looks great, hey?
She does. She's beautiful.
What was wrong with her?
She was suffering from starvation. So she's a green sea turtle, and we've got a lot of problems up here with starvation.
Yep.
Sea life all along the coast of Queensland has suffered loads in recent years. Cyclones, floods, and worryingly, an ever-increasing amount of pollution from the land has devastated numerous species, not least turtles. Their survival is testament to their ability to adapt as the earth around them has continued to evolve. But the changes affected by man in recent times is something nature is finding near impossible to cope with. I'm on the island state of Tasmania with the boys from Reptile Rescue. We've already attended 2 call-outs. We're now on our way to a 3rd. We're back on the trail of the bird-eating snake. Who knows what sort of carnage we're going to find there. G'day, mate.
Got a snake?
Taylor heard a commotion outside his home. When he went to investigate, he saw a snake up in the tree. He knew who to call right away.
That's the last I saw.
They're good climbers. Very, very good climbers. Could you point in the direction where the nest is, mate? Because you'll probably be just sitting in there.
That's a baby bird, dead by the look of it. The snake's probably bitten that. It's a bit big for a tiger snake, or this one sounds a bit small, but he's killed the chick anyway.
Dead?
Dead.
Yep. So when we actually catch him, you'll probably find he's...
Swallowed one?
Yeah, there's usually 3 in the nest. From experience, that's usually what happens.
This tiger snake's climbed up the tree. He'd be able to smell, great sense of smell. He's found his way to that nest, and Chris is saying there's normally 3 chicks in there. Now, these are English blackbirds. And the tiger's got up there and just bang, bang, bang. He's killed all the chicks. Maybe he swallowed one. We'll find him to see that.
Tim, you come in to me. Did you need me?
Here he is. There we go. Good snake. He's got something in his belly.
He's actually swallowed one.
Swallowed one?
Yep, so there was 4 in that one.
He's different than the other snake. Righto, that's another good-sized tiger. Yeah. Boys, that's 3 calls just in the last hour that I've been with you. I know today's warm, but is this what it's normally like?
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy when there's warm weather. It's sort of one after the other.
And the snakes here, tigers, copperheads and the whip snakes, like where I am, a lot of snakes take off and they're gone. Brown snakes, like we would not have a hope of catching one of them here. We wouldn't stay here. Yep. Tigers hang around?
Yeah, tigers are pretty territorial, so, and especially when the lady called and said that it was up in the nest,
yeah.
we know he's going to be here for a while. He's obviously going to have a bit of a food and then take off, so we were probably lucky. He was on his way down when we got here, but...
And he's different looking than the other, why is that?
Oh, it just comes with the suburb type of thing, like where we was before, that's a common ground for yellow tigers. Out here's your black with your kind of grey markings. It's all kind of different patches of different colours, so...
So before I go, we're going to go and let them go?
Yeah, mate, we'll find a little bit of a bush where there's no other residents around or where it's not going to be a problem to anyone else, and we'll release him back into the bush.
Yeah, good. That's the fun part. All right, mate, nice to meet you. That's good that you called. So, all right, mate, catch you later.
Ciao.
I've only been with the boys an hour, and I've just caught my 2nd tiger snake. Now, that one looked really different from the first. It wasn't golden, it was grey and banded. Now, all that's left to do now is find a nice spot in the bush, let him go away from people and houses. That's my job done.
The boys have got a few release sites dotted about the place. The main aim, of course, is to get them as far away as possible from human contact. As much for their benefit as anyone out for a stroll.
The boys have got a good release site here. First things first, it's away from people. That means no harm to humans, no harm to snakes. Secondly, lots of woodland and water. Skinks and frogs, perfect for tiger snakes. And this is the golden one. Come on, mate. Up you come. Here we go, mate. Off you go. Whoa. Oh. You don't get take two with the tiger snake. Tried to put in one direction, pooh, gone. That's what we wanted anyway. Yeah. All right, so this is a good spot, mate. Far enough away from number one.
Yeah, mate, definitely a good spot for him. You can hear the stream in the background, so there's going to be plenty of water and plenty of food source for him.
Yeah. There you go, mate. Off you go. Oh, he's under. Well, he took off straight down that hole.
Yeah, looks like he's found himself a nice little spot down there, mate.
Yeah.
He's found himself a little home, so he'll be happy here.
Good, and hopefully there's plenty of girls around, hey?
Yeah.
Righto, let's go.
Wow, what a morning. Just a couple of hours with the guys goes to show you how close we live to some of the world's deadliest critters. This is North Queensland, and I'm heading out with the guys from the Cairns Turtle Rehabilitation Centre on a very special day. A short drive up the coast and we're at our destination. But Jenny has another surprise in store. It turns out Port Douglas is just a stop off en route to the Low Isles, 25 kilometres offshore. The journey gives us time to chat about how turtles come into Jen's care.
The public actually notify the rangers about if there's a turtle found floating, sick and injured. They go and pick it up. They bring it into Marla Coast Vet Hospital. It's assessed there, and then from there we take it down to the intensive care.
In the wild, turtles eat seagrass, but outside forces have decimated supply along the coast.
Why are they disappearing?
Well, what's happened is over the years we've had unforeseen environmental conditions. So normally we get a cyclone, the seagrass beds might get wiped out, but they come back again. Yep. But we had Cyclone Larry, we had the floods, we had the wet dry, and then we had Yazi.
Okay.
And so literally the seagrass beds didn't get a chance to recover.
So it's, you got from fishing and tragic occurrences there to pollutant pressures to natural environmental pressures. It's just one thing after another.
One thing after the other.
A big hole in the purse of the organisation is food.
We feed them on squid.
Squid.
But we have very fussy turtles. They only eat imported squid.
Yeah, right.
Or they eat red spot prawns, which are the most expensive on the market.
Yep.
But she's a lot calmer today than she has been. So we'll head over that way.
It's not long before we reach the Low Isles. Quite possibly the epitome of what you'd call a desert island tropical paradise. Jenny's dedicated team of volunteers come to help from all over the world, and it's days like today that really are payback for their commitment. There's always a fair bit of interest on a release day, and today's no different. The only thing needed now is a decent site to let die go.
So what are we looking for to let it go?
We're just looking for a nice, calm patch area that's away from the boats.
Yep, and a bit of current to take her out.
Current to take her out.
I have to say, that's not a moment too soon. She may be young, but die is sure heavy. Time to let her go. Undoubtedly, this is the point that makes all the effort worthwhile.
You can just see how much interest is generated from one turtle. You get a bit of a sense of just how special they are.
It's all right. It's all right. Come on.
She was flapping away. She's ready to go. And she's settled now, so hopefully the release goes well and she just swims off.
Let's go.
Go down? It's not too deep for that.
No.
Right? You tell me when.
Okay, put her in the water and...
And Di was just released. And to start with, well, she was a little bit unsure and she sort of come back into the beach. But then she knew where she was and she took off straight out into the ocean. Couldn't find her again. You must feel pretty happy about that?
Oh, I certainly am.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a worry to start with. She was a little bit, as you said, disorientated.
Yep.
But now she's gone, she's out there. And we've seen a lot of heads pop up around her, so hopefully she's out there with a lot of other turtles.
I want to get in there and have a look. I hope I might see Di, but there's been turtles popping up. So this place is just perfect for her, hey?
It is, it's great. And we know the seagrass bed's out here, so she's got food and she's also got other turtles.
Yeah, well, good on you. You've done a wonderful job. Let's go for a swim.
Will do.
Okay.
No chance of finding Di. She was gone, enjoying her newfound freedom. But I couldn't pass up the opportunity to swim with some of the locals.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm Tim.
Margit.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Who's this?
This is Kimberly, but we have a bit of a health issue. Actually, I'd like to go straight to the vet with her.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, I'll jump in with you?
Yeah.
All right, no worries. We'll talk on the way.
This is the Atherton Tablelands in North Queensland. Margit has been caring for orphaned animals for 40 years. She's concerned enough about her latest patient, Kimberly, the Lumholtz tree kangaroo, that we're heading straight to the vets.
Here you go.
Hi, Mick. Yeah, well, not too good, really. Mick, I brought Tim along.
Hello, mate. Nice to meet you. Tim.
What's the story?
Well, she's just has a colic.
Margit suspects young Kimberly is suffering from colic, a disease that causes painful belly cramps.
Is she still eating, Margaret, like with her normal appetite?
Not with her normal appetite.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I had a big variety of foods there for the night for her, and I can hardly tell what she's eaten. But she hasn't had any sweet potato yesterday or today.
Yeah.
On the way, Margaret stopped and asked me to jump out and get some hibiscus flowers. There's a lot of animals that love to eat hibiscus, and if anything could coax her into having a little bit of food, this would work. Just having a preen.
What does she weigh? Have you weighed her recently?
We might as well pop her on the last time was 3 days ago. Here we go. And you've got to take that, bring that tail with you.
Right.
1.02.
Kimberly weighs just over 1 kilo. That's dangerously below average for a treeroo her age. If we don't get this girl to eat, she could be in serious trouble. Vet Mick wants to rule out pneumonia before treating Kimberly.
She's been really good.
Yes, you're done.
Margaret, the lungs sound really good. So
Well,
it doesn't
that's
sound like there's any pneumonia there. Well, I wonder if we can help her with some pain relief and maybe even... Have you ever used Valium in these guys as an appetite stimulant? Do you think it works in a low dose? Yeah. It also acts on the muscle to try and stop some of the spasms, so it might help with some of the colic. We don't want it to be sedated or anything, but a really low dose might stimulate her appetite.
Sounds wonderful.
And also maybe some pain relief.
Well, you know, I know that she's a little bit sick, but I've never been so close to a tree kangaroo, and I am totally in awe of her.
She's gorgeous, eh? She's like a little bear.
She is. I can't believe these limbs.
Yeah.
Kangaroos' limbs are short. They're not like that.
Yes. Just gorgeous little pads. Gorgeous pads.
Treeroos are really not that similar to their relatives on the ground. Their feet have changed. Their front arms are thick. Their tail is so much longer. Just a bit of an evolutionary marvel.
We've got a medication here. So there's 2 lots of medication for Kimberly.
Yeah.
One is the Valium that will help stimulate her appetite, and Mick's also brought her a painkiller.
Well, she's definitely uncomfortable. I think maybe could we do this together?
Certainly. Yeah, I think so.
That'd be great. So it might take a bit of holding her down. Good girl.
Okay, so we'll just try and just drop this onto her gums if she'll let us. You're right, Kimberly. I'm sorry. That's right. You're right. They make a noise, don't they?
They certainly do.
Done.
Was that not nice? Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome,
that.
Margaret. You're
See ya.
Nice to meet you.
Are you feeling any better?
Well, it's certainly reassuring that it's not a pneumonia, you know, that, and whatever causes the bellyache, we just have to get on top of it.
I've got a bit of medicine now for the bellyache, and hopefully, without a sore belly, she'll start feeding and, might perk up a bit and just turn back into herself. Tim Doyle Radio Holders helping with Leo. can we meet in Lost World in 5 minutes, please?
I've got a big job to do here in the Lost World of Reptiles at the park, and it needs all hands on deck.
There you go, big boy.
Leonardo, our alligator snapping turtle, has to be weighed, but that's going to be the easy bit. Lifting this monster out of his tank is going to be a nightmare. The reason moving him is such a challenge and so dangerous is because of that big head and those strong jaws. They're called alligator snappers for a reason. When that jaw snaps shut, it doesn't open. And if there's a finger or body part inside, it's not coming back. The water is his domain. So by dropping the water in the tank, it means that all of his weight is down on the ground, and that gives us an advantage. To move Leo safely and protect my staff, I'm planning this manoeuvre with military precision. Nick and Mike, you're going to jump in. Kyle will help underneath. You're going to keep a bit of weight up. You guys grab, you know where, front and back, nowhere near the head. Consider him like a croc. Anywhere in front of those front shoulders is the strike zone. It's such a tight squeeze in Leo's tank. Mike has to try to lift the turtle out on his own.
I'm actually a bit nervous about picking up this guy because I've certainly never picked up one before.
That's good. Are you right, mate? Someone give him a hand from under. We can't take it yet, Mike.
I've got God knows how many kilos out in front of me, and the whole time you've got this razor-sharp mouth out there moving around. I don't want to drop this guy.
We good, boys? Take a breath?
Yep.
OK, keep coming down.
Look at those jaws. You wouldn't want to get bitten by them. There's a job to be done, though. Can't duck out now. OK, now watch your fingers, mate. OK. Right. G'day. This is Leonardo. And we're going to weigh him. Leo's a real showstopper. And the thing that's attracting the most attention is his extraordinary mouth. Can you see that pink thing in his mouth? You know what he does with that? He pretends it's a worm and he wiggles it around underwater and a fish goes in to try and eat the worm. And what do you reckon the turtle does? Eats the fish. Alligator snapping turtles live in swamps and mainly in the southern half of the United States of America. They might look slow, but they are in fact ambush predators. Oh, those spikes hurt, eh? No. Put your head down, buddy. The head, it's like a vice and it snaps shut. Anything that goes in there, you've lost it. The turtle's gonna bite and not let go. We're having to head off-site because the scales at the park are just not up to the job. We're off now to a factory around the corner and they're really nice guys. They actually make pet food treats and what they do for us is let us use their industrial scales. And for something the size of Leonardo or our big crocodiles or alligators, this is exactly what we need. Righto, gents.
52.
I can't do a job like this without doing a guess-the-weight sweepstake with the boys. There's no prize, only glory for the winner. Time to get our prehistoric passenger. Let's hope he hasn't turned around. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks a lot. Last time on the show, we met young Kimberly, the Lumholtz tree kangaroo, who Margette, her carer, believed was suffering from colic. It's a debilitating disease that causes stomach cramps. We took Kimberly to the vet, who prescribed some medication. She's desperately underweight for her age, and Margette is really worried. The hope is it'll relieve the pain and encourage her to eat. Back home, before we test her appetite, Margette has some other hungry marsupials to feed.
She's coming out. Hello.
She knows it's feed time. You want to do this one?
What is it? Well, look at that. That's a little northern quail. How old do you think? 2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
Look at that. And what's this little guy's story?
He was found in a shed. The actual nest was found.
Yes.
And what happened to the mother, I don't know. But they seem to be abandoned. There was a couple of dead ones.
It seems to me he's pretty lucky where he's ended up, eh?
Yeah.
As small as this may look, you might find it hard to believe that this is one of the closest relatives of the Tasmanian devil. It's the smallest of the 3 quail species. Next up is the eastern quail, and then you've got the tiger quail. And above them, the largest living carnivorous marsupial is the devil. Now, northern quails, well, they get about the size of maybe a guinea pig when they're full grown. They're carnivorous, but they'll eat insects, geckos, birds, anything they can get their little hands on. He's done.
Now the moment of truth. Will Kimberly finally eat something?
Okay, Kimberly, let's see what we can offer you. There we go.
She's a good drinker. Do you think the treatments have worked?
Well, she had been drinking the milk all through her cramps,
Yes.
so it'll show maybe when we offer the leaves after.
The milk is going down a treat. Great news. But can Kimberly stomach some local flora?
Want me to take my little guy? Thank you. Hey, let go of him.
Come here. Come here.
I think she wants to explore.
Here we go.
That's good.
She does have an interest.
It's going to be a long road for young Kimberly, but she's in very good hands.
Now, I've heard you've got a pretty special man around the house. Who is Jeffrey?
Well, Jeffrey is a 9-year-old male tree kangaroo that I raised from about 600 grams.
Which is about a third the size of Kimberly now.
Yeah. He is just absolutely magnificent. Even after 3 weeks, I knew he was alpha male material. He's just so strong. Come on, I show you where Jeffrey lives.
Okay, that'd be great.
Good girl.
Jeffrey weighs a staggering 11 kilos and is the king of the jungle in these parts.
Well, this looks like perfect habitat. How big is your property?
Oh, it's 160 acres.
Yeah.
But of course, the territory is only about 10 acres.
Probably one of the best territories is this one right here, Margaret's house. And that's because there's a bit of a free feed for a special treeroo, Jeffrey, and he owns this as well as his little part of the forest.
But Jeffrey hasn't been seen in days. He's most likely defending his territory against other males.
But remember, Jeffrey started out like Kimberly, only smaller. Now, Margette didn't just hand-rear him, she got him to the point of establishing a territory in the wild, and that's a long process. Many slow introductions to the wild, learning how to climb, the foods. And now, he's an established, dominant male with his own territory. So when does he come?
It's usually morning or late afternoon, but I actually haven't seen him for a couple of days. He might just, you know...
No guarantees?
No.
So there's nothing left to do now except just sit and wait for him.
Time, as they say, waits for no man, and though I'd love to stick around and see Jeffrey, I've got to move on. I just hope nothing's happened to him. The next day, and what do you know? The elusive Jeffrey turned up. Jeffrey seems to have established a good home for himself and may well have 2 to 4 females he keeps in a close-knit group out in the forest. And who knows how many joeys he's sired since he took to the trees. I suspect he'll continue to be a frequent guest. After all, who wouldn't when you get tasty treats like Margette's homemade pasta? This is the Daintree River, and it's home to a healthy population of crocodiles. You know, crocs have been cruising these waters for the past 180 million years unchanged, and that makes them living relatives of the dinosaurs. Now, there's a problem. The government wants to intervene. They want to remove crocodiles from the environment. Now, I've got an issue with this. That would be taking the top order predator out of this environment. That's pressure on the ecosystem, and it could collapse. Not just that, it sends out the wrong message. If there's one thing that's not 100% guaranteed, it's the complete removal of crocs from an environment. It'll only end in tragedy as far as I'm concerned. I'm here with Matt, Shane and Erin from the Croc Protection Society in the local area. And down the back is Adam. And this boat of a daytime runs Daintree cruises. But tonight, we're looking for crocs. Before coming up here to North Queensland, Matt used to work with me at the reptile park. He's had a lifelong interest in reptiles.
Earlier this year, we decided to stand up for crocodiles and the removal. Yes. And what we decided to do is we tried to raise awareness and increase the education program in the local community for these animals.
Has there been a good response from community and locals to the society?
Yeah, definitely. The society's popularity has absolutely boomed. We've got a massive feedback from the community and everyone's getting behind us, which is fantastic.
Matt says the local government wants to take crocs out of the rivers to protect tourism. But that just seems crazy to me.
when most people, I mean, certainly me, but most people come here to see a croc and experience the wilderness.
Definitely, that's why I moved up here, just to see the wildlife.
But here's the craziest thing. People will think they can go for a swim because the government's told them the water is clear of crocs.
Well, there's actually obviously going to be a huge false sense of safety and security is going to be formed by this removal.
Yes.
And we can never guarantee that crocodiles are going to be removed. They're very mobile animals. They can come in and out of the river system whenever they want.
It seems to me that with a swelling human population, this is more about competition for land than anything else.
Tourists come here to experience the rainforest, the rivers, the crocodiles. This is the experience, not being able to swim in a river.
They can do that in a hotel pool. So there's issues around safety, but there's a wider issue as well. Taking out the apex predator would be devastating for the ecosystem.
Crocs are important in an ecosystem. They're top-order predator. Now, they play many roles. If there's a dead animal in the river, they clean it up. They also keep other species in check. And feral pigs were introduced to Australia some time ago, and pigs do enormous damage, not only to the riverbanks, they erode them, they dig them up, but pigs also dig up things like croc nests, goanna nests, they'll eat bird eggs and anything they can find. Now, by the crocodile eating the pigs, they're keeping them in check, and that means all of those other species survive.
And it's not just on the riverbank that crocs keep things in balance.
There's a barramundi just come up, gulp, took a fish. That's another sign that this place is healthy. Crocodiles have a bit of a relationship with barramundi and catfish. The crocs eat catfish. Now, if they didn't eat the catfish are too great in numbers, and they eat all the baby barramundi.
That's no good for fish numbers and certainly isn't good for the environment. Today, there's a healthy balance. It's one we should all appreciate. What people need to remember is these giants of a prehistoric age are some of Australia's greatest attractions. Up until 40 years ago, crocs were hunted across Australia, so much so that the species almost disappeared. Some say numbers have grown too much, but I'd rather go with local knowledge. The guys that run these rivers daily, tourist operators like Adam, say there's less than 100 adult crocodiles within this entire river system. So the boatmen get to see the same croc quite often.
Now's when it gets exciting. It's just on dark and the crocs will be waking up. We just saw our first run of bubbles. That's air coming out of a crocodile's nose, but it hasn't come up. Maybe in a little while. Let's hope he hasn't turned around. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks a lot.
We're on a mission to get our alligator snapping turtle, Leonardo Wade.
Got him, Johnny? Right. Got you. Right, 1, 2, 3, mate. Bob, watch your hands. I got him. I got him. Getting him out of the truck was hairy because it's not just the mouth you're worrying about, but him falling on the ground. Even at short distance, he does not bounce. All right.
We've got a sweepstake going on between us. No prize, just the kudos of being right.
The scales are pretty straightforward. We walk on there with him, take our weights away, and we end up with Leonardo's weight. Righto, off we hop. Oh, 44.5. Where's that pad?
Someone's 44. Yeah. Oh, 47.
47. Rodney! Well, you don't get a prize, mate, but you do get all the glory.
Oh, I know, mate.
Oh, turn that head around, please.
This guy's a tricky fella to manoeuvre. And let me remind you, those jaws are strong.
The job's not over until the big guy's back in his tank and it's full of water. 1, 2, 3. He's a beast, isn't he? Ooh, come on, mate. He's cranky now.
First, though, we've got to get him back through the park, but I have a feeling he'll draw a bit of attention.
Watch your hand. Oh, that's all right.
There's some tight turns on the way back to the Lost World where we keep Leo, and I don't want him nipping at anyone's knees, least of all mine. It's really rare to get Leo out, and our staff, the reptile keepers that care for him every day, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they can get up close and actually touch him. We've got to make the most of that.
Come on in, mate. Behind, around the back. You can feel his tail if you want. This is Leonardo. Look at that mouth, man. That's just brilliant.
Apart from Leo's well-being, my main concern today has been safety. Now I'm about to give the park visitors a glimpse of just what those jaws look like in action. This is a piece of bamboo and it's fresh, so it's pretty soft, but I want to show you just how strong they are. Whoa! You do not want that to be your finger. He's not going to let go. Come on, mate. While he's out of his tank, it's a good time for a physical. Some turtles can get what's called shell rot. It wears down and can get infected, so time to take a look. He looks great, mate. That's perfect. No signs of anything. He's got both eyes on me. Right there, when I move, they follow. And you know, his head can reach almost half the length of his body. So if you think about how far forward that is, you know, I'm safe here, but I'm not going any closer. This is no time to get complacent. One little mistake, a hand or a leg goes too close, and this boy's gonna grab you. I gotta make sure that doesn't happen. Right, Johnny? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. Getting him out of the tank was pretty tough, but the reality is, getting him back in, that's likely to be harder. Watch your hand. Oh, that's all right. Oh, those spikes hurt, eh? The risks now are that someone gets bitten or we drop him in the tank. I don't want either of them to happen. This is manageable. We just need to do it smooth. Keep fingers and arms in the right spot, get him back down in the tank, fill it with water, maybe give him a bit of a feed. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go up. Watch your legs, Johnny. Okay, you take next step, then I'll come up. Hold him for a sec, lift. Yeah, okay, watch your arm, Johnny. Watch your arm on the side. You got him, mate? It's a really awkward position to be holding something in. It's like carrying a bag of cement with jaws. Hands away, Rod. Hands away. Yep, watch out, Johnny. Back a bit. That's good. His front arms might get stuck a little. Okay, Mike, and down. Good job, mate. That went really well. Leo might be having a bit of a sook now, but he'll get over that. A few yabbies will do the trick. We've got his weight, and that means we'll be able to monitor his health over the years. And the best thing is, everyone's got their digits. It was a good day. A few days ago, I met Kimberly, the tree-roo joey, who was suffering from colic. Well, I got a call from a carer, Margette, to say she's turned a corner. I didn't need to be asked twice to come back, and who knows, I might just get to see the elusive Jeffrey as well. She's up high.
I tell you what, if this log was another 10 metres taller, she'd be even up much, much higher. There's no stopping her.
I thought she was going to sit here and maybe climb along and straight up.
I'm very pleased, actually. She's probably feels much better than I thought, which is great.
Margette suspects Kimberly's mother rejected her because she's a particularly active joey and was a bit of a handful. On this evidence, she's probably right. She was found in a stream after falling from trees. Her saviours tried to reconnect her with her mother, but she never showed any interest, so Kimberly was brought here.
Yeah, you're very clever. You're very clever on my arm. That feels pretty cool.
Just like Lumhold's tree-roos in the wild, Kimberly will have to stay with her adoptive mother for quite some time. It takes a couple of years at least before a joey has learnt all the techniques needed to go out on its own. They'll learn to recognise a dead branch and which barks are likely to be slippery, that sort of thing. Until then, Margette will continue to watch over her, helping to hone her skills, and eventually she'll follow Jeffrey and all the other tree-roos that Margette has helped back into the forest. As for Jeffrey, well, what do you know? He eluded me again.
Yeah, Timmy, just over there, mate. Yeah, right through there.
I'm on the Daintree River with the guys from the North Queensland Crocodile Protection Society. We've been out since dusk surveying croc numbers.
There's a big female right in under there. We can see her whole body. And Adam knows her. Her name's Fang. And he thinks she might be full of eggs because the last few days she's been spending a heap of time up on the bank. Might have a nest up there.
When she's ready, she'll lay those eggs. Over 50 in a nest she'd have built herself. A couple of months later, she'll hear the calls of a young from within the nest and dig them out. Then she'll carry them down to the water's edge, gently in those jaws. 1 year down the line, though, and only one, possibly two, will have survived. Predators will have taken the rest. It's nature's way of keeping the population in check. Out on the river again, and we're seeing plenty of activity.
There we go, there's his eyes. Two big eyes glowing at me.
This male's a little one, just over a metre or so. So maybe just a few years old. He's a long way off sexual maturity where he'll be able to sire his own young. That comes at around 20 years old when he'll have reached over 3 metres.
There's one, Tim.
Where is he, mate?
Just under there.
Oh, yep. He's little.
Croc numbers are healthy nowadays when you consider 40 years ago, numbers were at a critical level due to widespread hunting. Today, they have legal protection, but the very same authorities that brought that about want to now cull these magnificent creatures. Fatal attacks do occur, but they're rare and usually down to unusual circumstances, not always the crocodile's fault.
Big croc over there!
We can't go about destroying these animals just because the human population is growing. It's time people realise the Daintree and rivers like it are the croc's home as well. Surely they've got a greater claim to it anyway. After all, they've been around for millions of years. Thankfully, people like Maddie, Shane and Erin are bringing awareness to the local population. I only hope they can persuade the authorities their plans are futile. I've enjoyed my night out on the river. The croc population seems healthy for now.
Righto, see you later. See you, Adam.